p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour, 40 nations contributing to UN Lebanon peacekeeping force condemn attacks. UNIFIL accuses Israeli military of deliberately firing on its positions. US Vice President Kamala Harris puts pressure on Donald Trump over medical records, criticizes Trump's lack of transparency. India's President Draupadi Murmu to embark on a landmark visit to African nations Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi in a short while from now. And in a blockbuster clash in ICC Women's T20 World Cup on Sunday, India eye big win against injury-hit Australia. News in detail. Now, 40 nations that contribute to the UN peacekeeping force in Lebanon on Saturday said that they strongly condemn recent attacks on the peacekeepers. The Polish UN mission, in a social media post, said that such actions must stop immediately and should be adequately investigated. The joint statement was signed by nations including leading contributors India, Indonesia and Italy. Signatories also include Ghana, Nepal, Malaysia, Spain, France and China, all countries that have contributed several hundred troops to the force. At least 5 peacekeepers have been wounded in recent days as Israel takes its fight against Hezbollah into southern Lebanon. The peacekeeping mission UNIFIL has accused the Israeli military of deliberately firing on its position. According to the statement, the 40 contributing countries reaffirmed their full support for UNIFIL's mission and activities, whose principal aim is to bring stabilization and lasting peace in South Lebanon as well as in the Middle East. The countries urged the parties of the conflict to respect UNIFIL's presence, which entails the obligation to guarantee the safety and security of its personnel at all times. UNIFIL, which involves about 9,500 troops of some 50 nationalities, is tasked with monitoring a ceasefire that ended a 33-day war in 2006 between Israel and Hezbollah. And Hezbollah on Sunday said it was fighting Israeli forces trying to infiltrate Ramia village in southern Lebanon as a third UN peacekeeper was wounded in Israel's escalating conflict with the Iran-backed Lebanese group. Israeli strikes that have shook the peacekeepers' main base in southern Lebanon, prompting UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and Western countries to condemn the attacks. The UNIFIL force called it a serious development and said the security of UN personnel and property must be guaranteed. France summoned Israel's ambassador and issued a statement with Italy and Spain calling such attacks unjustifiable. US President Joe Biden said he was asking Israel not to hit the UNIFIL forces. Russia said it was outraged and demanded Israel refrain from hostile actions against peacekeepers. And as West Asia remains on the edge, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, in a call with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, expressed deep concern about reports that Israeli forces had fired on UN peacekeeping positions in Lebanon in recent days and urged Israel to ensure safety for them and the Lebanese military. Austin also reinforced the need to pivot from military operations in Lebanon to a diplomatic pathway as soon as feasible. Meanwhile, Israel ordered more evacuations and targeted a new location in northern Lebanon on Saturday. The Israeli military said Hezbollah had fired nearly 320 projectiles from Lebanon into Israel on Saturday. Israel's military ordered residents of 23 southern Lebanese villages to evacuate to areas north of the Awali River, which flows from the western Bekaa Valley into the Mediterranean. It declared areas around some towns in North Israel closed to the public. The Israeli military said evacuations were necessary for the safety of residents due to increased Hezbollah activities, claiming the group is using sites to conceal weapons and launch attacks on Israel. while Hezbollah denied concealing weapons among civilians. And hundreds of Palestinians residing in northern Gaza were seen fleeing the north on Saturday. Israel has been pursuing an offensive in recent days, sending its troops into Jabalia, the largest of Gaza's 8 historic refugee camps, and the nearby towns of Beit Hanun and Beit Lahia. Now, Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Bagher Kalibaf reaffirmed Iran's commitment to supporting Lebanon. At a press conference held in Beirut on Saturday, Kalibaf also highlighted Iran's readiness to assist those displaced and affected by the ongoing conflict, contingent upon coordination with the Lebanese government. The press conference followed Kalibaf's visit to one of the sites of the Israeli strikes that hit central Beirut, which killed 22 people and wounding over 100.
I am particularly carrying a message from Supreme Leader for the Lebanese people with assurances that in these difficult conditions, the Islamic Republic of Iran shall stand with the Lebanon's nation and government and the resistance in all areas.
Families of Israeli hostages held by Hamas since October 7 gathered in Tel Aviv on Saturday night after Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, drew to a close. Around 1,000 protesters demanded the government secure the release of their loved ones after nightfall. Yom Kippur is a day of atonement when Jews seek forgiveness by fasting and praying. The war began after a Hamas-led terrorist attack on October 7, 2023 on southern Israeli communities, in which 1,200 people were killed and about 250 were taken hostage, 101 still remaining as hostages.
It's important every day. We are standing here every day and we don't miss a single day, even if it's Yom Kippur. The hostages are still there. There's no break for them. It's not like it's holiday, so the conditions are different. Their situation is the same every day, and for us, the situation is the same. Every day we will fight until we get everyone back.
Many people in our government and our Prime Minister that there's many things that they need to ask for forgiveness about, and the number one thing is abandoning the hostages.
Now, Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati on Saturday met the delegation of Palestinian Fatah movement in Egypt's new administrative capital. The talks are the first since the two groups met in China in July and agreed steps to form a Palestinian unity government. They are also part of long-running and previously unsuccessful efforts to heal a schism that hardened when Hamas seized control of Gaza in a brief conflict with Fatah in 2007. The issue of the administration of Gaza after the end of the year-old Israel-Hamas war is one of the thorniest issues facing the Palestinians. Saturday's meeting comes after the delegation met leaders from Islamist group Hamas to discuss plans for cooperation after the war in Gaza in a new round of talks in Cairo on Wednesday. Moving on, U.S. Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris has said that her Republican rival Donald Trump is showing a lack of transparency by not releasing health records. Earlier, Harris released a letter from a doctor on Saturday that pronounced her in good health and fit for high office. The Harris campaign is eager to highlight the former president's age since he became the oldest candidate in the race. President Joe Biden stepped aside as the Democratic standard bearer following a poor debate performance against Donald Trump.
So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for President of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency, that on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for President of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is.
And U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris returned to North Carolina on Saturday evening to help with hurricane relief efforts before campaigning in Greenville on Sunday. Harris arrived in Raleigh on Saturday evening and met with local black leaders. Then she joined the supply line at a local restaurant, helping pack boxes of supplies for victims of Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina. This marks Harris' second visit to state following the hurricane. Last week, she visited the western region to assess the damage. And Republican candidate Donald Trump also rallied supporters in Coachella, California on Saturday. Although Trump is not expected to win California, a state known to be solidly blue or Democratic, still thousands of supporters showed up in the sweltering heat to support the former president. He criticized Vice President Kamala Harris' home state, bringing up the lack of affordability and struggles with homelessness.
Kamala Harris and the radical Democrats have destroyed this state. California's really, it's a paradise lost, but we're going to bring it back. Don't worry about it. We're bringing it back. It'll happen fast. We'll stop the murderers from coming in, the drug dealers, everybody coming into California, coming into our country. Today, California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest cost of living, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, the most homelessness, the most crime, the most decay, and the most illegal aliens. Other than that, I think you're doing quite well, actually.
And immigration and border security were also major highlights in Trump's speech.
I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And we will call it Operation Aurora. That's what we're going to, in honor of the people that have suffered in Aurora at the hands of this horrible gang, Operation Aurora. And if they come back into our country after, we're going to throw them out so far you wouldn't believe it. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? The death penalty. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. Death penalty. It's time.
Earlier, Donald Trump participated in a panel discussion aimed at Latino voters in Nevada on Saturday. The event, billed the Hispanic Roundtable, was hosted by Building America's Future, a conservative non-profit. Trump remarked that U.S. is run by very stupid and probably evil people. He also said that U.S. has the worst border in the history of the world.
No excuse for this. We have the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been a border in the history of the world like this. If it was a third world country, because they had no border like this, because they'd fight them off with sticks and stones if they had to. This is the worst ever in the history of the world, because we're run by very stupid and probably evil people. And we can't have it. So thank you very much, Bob. I hope that's a positive message. Is that a positive message?
And updates from Russia-Ukraine conflict, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has claimed that Russian forces had tried to oust Ukrainian troops from position in Russia's Kursk border region, but Kiev's forces were holding their lines. In a nightly video address on Saturday, Zelensky said that Russia tried to push back their positions, but Ukrainian troops held their designated lines. Earlier, Russia's defense ministry said on Friday that its forces had recaptured 2 villages in the border Kursk region, where Ukrainian troops launched a mass incursion in August. Ukraine has said its offensive is intended to create a buffer zone in the region to stop shelling of its border areas. Zelensky has acknowledged that the Ukrainian advance into Kursk was intended to draw Russian troops away from frontline positions in eastern Ukraine, where Russian forces have been making steady gains in recent months. Well, still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. Sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un lashes out at South Korean drones. Pakistani authorities preparing to shut down the capital ahead of SCO summit. And gathering parliamentarians from across the globe, 149th IPU Assembly to take place in Geneva, Switzerland.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Extreme weather events are going to get more frequent and intense. What can we do? Here are some ideas.
In each of the grid, we installed rain gauges, and we identified local people from the villages, and these people were given training how to measure rainfall. And every day, these farmers used to give rainfall data into a WhatsApp group that we had created called Wayanad Weather Forecast.
Sweden started very early to cut out fossil fuels from our energy mix. So that also shows that big, bold changes are possible.
There are 5 to 6 families who have joined us on this journey towards self-sufficiency. We also exchange products and goods.
If we use cork instead of these materials, which are not renewable, cork is, we are decreasing several orders of magnitude.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Shifting focus to Asia Pacific now. North Korean state media had a warning from Kim Yo-jong, sister of leader Kim Jong-un, threatening retaliation if South Korean drones enter Pyongyang's airspace. Kim Yo-jong condemned the South's military response to North Korea's accusation that Seoul sent drones over the capital. North Korea claims that drones were sent into Pyongyang last week and demanded retaliatory measures. All right, in response, South Korea's military said it could not confirm the North's allegations. This comes amid heightened tensions with North Korea sending trash-filled balloons into South Korea. Pyongyang claims these balloons are in retaliation for South Korean activists sending aid and anti-regime leaflets into the North. And Section 144 has been imposed in Karachi from October 13th to 17th to ensure public safety ahead of the SCO summit. The Karachi IGP cited the potential disruption to peace posed by protests and rallies during the summit. The order bans gatherings of 5 or more people, processions and public meetings to maintain law and order. In addition, Section 144 has been enforced in 5 districts of Punjab until October 15th to prevent political gatherings and rallies, including those by the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party. The government imposed these restrictions due to security concerns, as large gatherings may become targets for miscreants. The measures aim to protect public safety while international leaders attend the SCO summit. The 23rd Council of the Heads of Government Member States of the SCO will take place in Islamabad from October 15th to 16th. And the 149th IPU Assembly will take place in Geneva, Switzerland from 13th to 17th October, gathering parliamentarians from across the globe. Key discussions will focus on how emerging technologies, particularly AI, can be used for peace and sustainability. A major outcome is expected to be the adoption of a new charter on the ethics of science and technology, guiding decision-making in the use of technology. The resolution emphasizes protecting democratic institutions from AI-related misinformation, hate speech and violence. The Assembly will include meetings of women and young parliamentarians and the Committee on Human Rights of Parliamentarians. And Britain's former Prime Minister Boris Johnson has hailed India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a change maker. Boris Johnson has revealed in his new memoir that he felt the Indian leader's curious astral energy the very first time he met him in London, more than a decade ago. Devoting a full chapter on the India-UK relationship in his book, Johnson recalls significant meetings with PM Modi in New Delhi and London from his time as the Mayor of London to the UK Prime Minister. Recalling their first meeting in 2012, which took place by the River Thames, Johnson said that he felt PM Modi's curious astral energy as he held his arm and raised it in front of a crowd of Indian supporters. Johnson, who had 2 terms as London's mayor, then went on to describe the Indian PM as the change maker that India-UK relationship needs. A noted Indian-American journalist Fareed Zakaria has said that India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi can play a constructive role in brokering peace between Russia and Ukraine. Zakaria said, and I quote, "The war in Ukraine is frozen. There are very few parties who have the credibility to talk to both sides. If Prime Minister Modi were to propose some kind of situation where he acts as an intermediary, I think he could play a very constructive role." Zakaria told to India Today TV that this is his great opportunity to be a global statesman should he want it. I think he would have to get energetically involved and he would have to be willing to really be an honest broker. I think he has the platform, he has the potential and has the diplomatic skills to do it, unquote. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has expressed condolences over the demise of industrialist Ratan Tata. In a social media post, Netanyahu addressed Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, highlighting Ratan Tata's contributions to India and his role in fostering Israel-India relations. He extended his sympathies to Tata's family and praised the industrialist's lasting legacy. This is what he wrote on X: "To my friend Prime Minister Narendra Modi, I and many in Israel mourn the loss of Ratan Naval Tata, a proud son of India and a champion of the friendship between our 2 countries. Please convey my condolences to Ratan's family. In sympathy, Benjamin Netanyahu." Now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Alex Salmond, former Scottish First Minister, has died at the age of 69. Known for transforming Scottish politics and leading the independence movement, Salmond was praised for his role in bringing the Scottish National Party to government. His death, described as desperately sad by current First Minister John Swinney, follows a collapse after a speech in North Macedonia. Hundreds of women marched in Istanbul to protest femicide after a shocking double murder sparked nationwide outrage. And severe storms have caused fallen trees and widespread blackouts in Sao Paulo, leaving restaurants and stores without power. The storms, which killed at least 8 people, hit central and southeastern Brazil with strong winds and heavy rain. Most of the fatalities occurred in Sao Paulo, Brazil's most populous state. And in Morocco, the tradition of facial tattoos among Amazigh tribeswomen is fading. Once a cherished cultural symbol passed down for generations, the practice has largely disappeared in modern times. Like many indigenous cultures, the Amazigh fear their facial tattooing heritage may soon be forgotten. All right, still to come on DD India News Hour. US Federal Aviation Administration approves SpaceX Starship 5 flight set for Sunday. The world marks International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. This year's theme focuses on empowering the next generation for a resilient future. And major development in Baba Siddiqui murder case, suspects to be produced in court today. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we've done so far. 40 nations contributing to UN Lebanon peacekeeping force condemn attacks. UNIFIL accuses Israeli military of deliberately firing on its positions. US Vice President Kamala Harris puts pressure on Donald Trump over medical records, criticizes Trump's lack of transparency. India's President Draupadi Murmu to embark on a landmark visit to African nations, Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi in a short while from now. And in a blockbuster clash in ICC Women's T20 World Cup on Sunday, India eye big win against injury-hit Australia. The United States Federal Aviation Administration approved a license for the launch of SpaceX Starship 5 set for Sunday, after earlier saying it did not expect to make a decision until late November. SpaceX is targeting Sunday for the launch and said a 30-minute launch window opens at 1200 GMT. The FAA said on Saturday that SpaceX had met all safety, environmental and other licensing requirements for the suborbital test flight for the 5th test of the Starship and has also approved the Starship 6 mission profile. The Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy rocket are a fully reusable system designed to carry crew and cargo to Earth orbit, the Moon and beyond. The 5th test flight of the Starship Super Heavy from Boca Chica, Texas includes a return to the launch site of the Super Heavy booster rocket for a catch attempt by the launch tower and a water landing of the Starship vehicle in the Indian Ocean west of Australia. Now, India becomes third largest supplier to the UNICEF organization's health and Russian support for children worldwide. Indian businesses have provided nearly $6 billion in goods and services, significantly enhancing UNICEF's efforts in improving the lives of children globally. Empowering the mission of saving the lives of the most vulnerable children, in a statement, UNICEF quoted that Indian suppliers of life-saving goods and services for children are key to UNICEF's work for children globally. And Indian President Draupadi Murmu will embark on a state visit on Sunday to 3 African countries, namely Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi, from October 13th to 19th. This will be the first ever visit by an Indian head of state to the 3 African nations. President Murmu will begin her 3-nation visit with Algeria from October 13th to 15th at the invitation of President of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, Abdelmajid Tebboune. President will address the India-Algeria Economic Forum and the Sidi Abdallah Science and Technology Pole University. She will also inaugurate the India Corner at Hama Garden at Jardin Desai. The visit is expected to further enhance bilateral ties between the 2 countries. And on the second leg of her visit, President Murmu will visit Mauritania on 16th October. The visit is taking place at a crucial juncture when Mauritania holds the presidency of the African Union. During the visit, President Murmu will hold talks with her Mauritian counterpart, Mohammed Ould Sheikh Al Ghazouani. The visit will provide further impetus to India-Mauritania bilateral relations. And from Mauritania, at the invitation of the President of Malawi, Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, President Murmu will visit Malawi from October 17th to 19th. During the visit, she will hold bilateral meetings with Malawi's leadership, interact with key trade and industry leaders and the Indian diaspora. She will visit places of cultural and historical significance, and the visit will reaffirm India's strong commitment to further strengthen our existing friendly and cordial relations with Malawi. And the state visit by President Murmu to Algeria, Mauritania and Malawi is reflective of India's deep desire to strengthen its partnership with countries in Africa. It comes a year after the African Union was made a permanent member of G20 during India's presidency. Moving on to our next story now, former Maharashtra Minister and Nationalist Congress Party leader Babasaheb passed away on Saturday after being shot in Mumbai. He was shot near Nirmal Nagar in Bandra and later succumbed to bullet injuries at the hospital. Mumbai police said they recovered the weapon used in the crime. Mumbai police have apprehended 2 persons related to the incident. A case regarding the incident has been registered at Nirmal Nagar police station under various sections. A search for the third accused is ongoing and the investigation is being conducted from all possible angles. Body of Babasaheb was taken to Cooper Hospital for post-mortem. The body was earlier kept at Leelavati Hospital, where a large number of people, including politicians and celebrities, gathered late into the night to meet Siddiqui's family and pay their respects. Alright, DD India Shishir Shelar has more information on this. He is joining us live from Mumbai. Shishir, what more you can tell us? What are the recent developments? And 2 of the assailants have been arrested and police on the lookout for the third alleged accused in the case?
Well, absolutely. What information that we've got so far, that 2 people have been identified by the police who have been arrested yesterday. One is Gurnail Singh and the second is Kashyap. The Gurnail Singh belongs from Haryana and the Kashyap belongs from Uttar Pradesh. But the third person is absconding here, and the police have already started the search for the third person. What we got to know from the sources is that police has formed the crime unit, the crime branch has formed 3 to 4 units, and those units have been sent out of Mumbai in search of the third person. Well, obviously, currently the body of Babasaheb is kept in Cooper Hospital for the post-mortem, and after that the body will be brought here at the residence in Bandra West. Well, obviously, currently the information that we have received so far is that the police have already started the search here. What exactly the motive behind this and who are involved in this entire attack is not clear. That's what the police have said. But I told you already that the 2 attackers are already in police custody and they'll be produced to the court. And police try to investigate the matter as soon as possible and to get all these questions which is still unanswered, that who is behind this attack.
No information on this, Shishir. The 2 suspects arrested in the killing, what are they claiming? Which gang they belong to? And also police investigating the motive behind the murder?
Well, absolutely. As the investigation is still on, this is the primary information that police have just shared with us. They have identified the 2 people and the name also and from where they belong. But as far as what is the motive behind it, who all are involved in this entire operations, it's still not clear. And that's the reason the main question that lies in front of police is that whether it is a gang war or whether these people have been connected to any gang that need to be found out. The second important thing, the person behind this, the mastermind who carried out this attack, and where he's actually, that's also one of the important questions that police will try to investigate. The third person is absconding. The crime branch unit have already been spread across the country here and try to find the third person. So these are the important questions that lies ahead of the police, and that's what the investigation is going on this line.
Shishir, before we leave you, last question. The incident comes right ahead of Maharashtra Assembly elections. Is this a cause of concern?
Well, yesterday Chief Minister have already given a statement. He stated that Mumbai police will handle it, and he also stated that the law and order situation must be maintained in the city, and whatever is required for that, Mumbai police must do that. He also said that all the culprit should be handled strictly, and all the actions should be taken as soon as possible. So obviously, even though there's a Maharashtra election going on, but the law order situation is quite important from Maharashtra perspective. And that's the reason the police has been given free hand to investigate this entire matter.
All right, Shishir, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for your inputs. All right, so that was DD India's Shishir Shelar reporting from Mumbai. But still to come on DD India News Hour. Blockbuster game today in Women's T20 World Cup. India to take on Australia in a crucial encounter. And Novak Djokovic beats Taylor Fritz to set up Shanghai final with Yannick Sinner.
Welcome to Jaipur.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. On Sunday, October 13th, the world marks International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. This year's theme focuses on empowering the next generation for a resilient future. With disasters becoming more frequent, global cooperation and local strategies are crucial to reducing risk and building a safer, sustainable world for all. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya with more details.
A rapidly warming planet possesses an urgent threat to life on Earth. On October 13th, the world observes International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction, a reminder for nations to assess their vulnerabilities and build resilient strategies. This year, the focus is on empowering the next generation to ensure a safer, more resilient future. Disasters often transcend borders, demanding a global response.
The Sendai
Framework, adopted by the UN, provides a more comprehensive roadmap for reducing disaster risk.
Man-made and natural hazards.
In recent years, India has faced several natural calamities, from the Gujarat cyclone to the Kerala floods. But through advancement in science and technology, the country has significantly minimized their impact.
Disaster-resilient infrastructure saves lives and livelihoods and ensures continuity of critical infrastructure services like power, transport, health, and communications. CDRI is a coalition of 40 countries and 7 international organizations that have come together to advance the resilience of new and existing infrastructure. The coalition focuses on building capacity with knowledge sharing, building evidence with technical studies and resilience programs, and undertaking global advocacy for promoting disaster-resilient infrastructure.
India's launch of the Infrastructure for Resilient Island States at COP26 further strengthens its commitment to safeguarding vulnerable regions. India's Prime Minister laid out a 10-point agenda on disaster risk reduction, advocating for community preparedness, technological innovations, and global cooperations. As we move forward, empowering the next generation remains essential in creating a resilient future for all. With camera person Anand, this is Tapas Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
And PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan for Multimodal Connectivity completes 3 years on Sunday. Launched on October 13th in the year 2021, the scheme achieved significant milestones in transforming the country's infrastructure landscape. The scheme helped in boosting the pace of development of the country. Scheme constitutes of 7 engines including road, railways, airports, ports, public transport, waterways and logistics infrastructure.
PM Gati Shakti has integrated 44 central ministries and 36 states and union territories with more than 1600 data layers, making it a crucial tool for planning and executing infrastructure projects. The platform has significantly improved interministerial coordination and streamlined project execution. Impacting social sector ministries, PM Gati Shakti enabled better infrastructure planning in essential areas such as primary healthcare, education, postal services and travel development, ensuring that even remote and underserved areas are part of India's infrastructure growth story. While in a unified approach under PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, platform states have streamlined their capital investment for accelerating infrastructure development. The scheme, launched under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, elevated India's rank by 6 places from 44 to 38 in World Bank's Logistic Performance Index Report 2023. The PM Gati Shakti's data-driven approach is powered by GIS-based tools and a real-time monitoring system that enables faster and more informed decision-making. Under PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, Indian Railways has surveyed over 49,983 km length for development of multimodal connectivity infrastructure in various economic zones. The platform also ensures that projects are aligned with national priorities and completed on time. This integration is key to meeting India's net zero by 2070 commitments. Over 1,000 officials are trained under the scheme for training and capacity building purposes. As India moves forward, the PM Gati Shakti is expected to continuously evolve to keep playing a pivotal role in expanding multimodal infrastructure, developing smart cities, and enhancing the country's industrial capabilities through industrial corridors and mega investment regions. Sharing of non-sensitive and shareable data with the non-government users is also being considered. PM Gati Shakti District Master Plan portal is also being developed with technical support of BISAC-N or Bhaskaracharya National Institute for Space Applications and Geoinformatics for collaborative planning at the district level by state and district authorities. Taking PMGS to international level, diplomatic engagements are underway with countries in the neighborhood and other developing countries like Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Madagascar, Senegal and Gambia. Bureau Report, DD India.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails Gati Shakti National Master Plan. PM underscored how initiative aimed at revolutionizing India's infrastructure. On a social media platform X, PM Modi said, and I quote him, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan has emerged as a transformative initiative aimed at revolutionizing India's infrastructure. It has significantly enhanced multimodal connectivity, driving faster and more efficient development across sectors. The seamless integration of various stakeholders has led to boosting logistics, reducing delays, and creating new opportunities for several people. Unquote. Moving further. In RG Medical College rape and murder case, another junior doctor who was on a hunger strike over the incident of sexual harassment and murder of a female doctor 2 months ago was admitted to the hospital after his health deteriorated on Saturday evening. Earlier, junior doctor of North Bengal Medical College and Hospital Alok Verma Anustup Mukherjee were also admitted to the hospital after his health deteriorated. About 3 days ago, Aniket Mahato was admitted to the ICU of RG Medical Hospital. The junior doctors had started their fast unto death on October 5th in the Esplanade area of central Kolkata. All right, let's go across to Kolkata. DD India's Prasenjit Bakshi is joining us live from there. Prasenjit, first of all, doctor on fast in hospital. Tell us, how is the condition of the doctor first?
Look, the doctors who are in hunger strike till now at Esplanade, their situation is, deteriorating day by day, or I must say that hour by hour. The 3 doctors who are hospitalized, somehow their situation is stable because as immediately the senior doctors, they have taken care of all vital organs and the parameters. But the point is that the way this hunger strike till death is continuing, that is putting pressure on the entire government at the state level, because the government at the state level is absolutely non-responsive, and that is why the senior doctors of different level in West Bengal, in government medical colleges, they are submitting the mass resignation for the last 2-3 days, and tomorrow, that is Monday, will be the first working day after a long holiday of celebration. So tomorrow, Monday, the things will be clear that how the health system is in a jeopardized situation due to this mass resignation. And secondly, Abhishek, that FEMA, one of the largest organizations of the doctors, they have called for a cease work for 48 hours from 6 a.m. of Monday. So that is all nationwide. So that will also put a big issue before this Mamata Banerjee government. But still now, I must say, Abhishek, that government is absolutely non-responsive, while the situation, the health condition of the doctors deteriorating hour by hour.
But Prasenjit, the doctors' protests are threatening to spread. Like you said, doctors at several state-run hospitals have submitted their mass resignations. Government is non-responsive. The protests that have continued over 2 months now, you think it is now broadly evolving into a protest against corruption?
Absolutely. Look, the whatever incident happened with the on-duty lady doctor on the midnight of 8th and 9th August, that is a horror, and that investigation is with CBI, and the judiciary is looking after this. So that is one of the major demands of these doctors out of their 10 demands. So that is there. But the other 9 demands, which are related to the safety security of the medical colleges and hospitals under state government, that is absolutely the domain of the state government, and the doctors are alleging that in the name of doing groundwork, the state government is misleading the Supreme Court and misleading the society, because nothing is happening at the ground level except making some paperwork. So that is why they are worried that the way government is misleading even the Supreme Court. So that is very dangerous, and that is their protest, that we are working, we are protesting, or we are doing this hunger strike for erosion of, for end of the threat culture, from end of the corruption system in the medical colleges. But state government is absolutely non-functional in this particular case. So that is why they are continuing, and it is spreading throughout the nation. Abhishek.
All right, Prasenjit, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for getting us the latest from Kolkata. Dussehra, primarily a Hindu festival celebrating the victory of good over evil, was also widely celebrated in Algeria. Indian community offered prayers. The devotees gathered to seek blessings and express gratitude. Through these observances, the Indian community in Algeria not only upholds their traditions but also strengthens their bonds with one another, creating a tapestry of cultural that enriches the local landscape. Now let's take a look at other stories making news. The Indian government has approved the upgradation of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to 14th Maharatna Central Public Sector Enterprises. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is a Department of Defence Production CPSE with an annual turnover of 28,162 crore rupees and net profit of over 7,500 crore rupees in 2023-24. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath held a Janta Darbar in the city of Gorakhpur on Sunday. The CM offered food and assistance and also interacted with hundreds of people who came seeking assistance on various issues. Heavy rainfall is likely to continue over South Interior Karnataka, Kerala, Mahe and Tamil Nadu during the next 5 days. According to weather agency, conditions are favourable for further withdrawal of southwest monsoon from remaining parts of Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bihar during the next 2 days. Updates from Business World now. Tesla's reveal of a robotaxi designed as a low-slung two-seater sporty coupe, quite the opposite of a typical taxi with room for several passengers and luggage, flummoxed investors and analysts. CEO Elon Musk served up the cool design for the prototype of the Tesla robotaxi, dubbed Cybercab, at a much-hyped event near Los Angeles late on Thursday. These will go into production sometime in 2026 and cost less than $30,000 a pop. Investors jeered the design and the lack of financial detail, with Tesla stocks tumbling 9% on Wall Street on Friday. Experts said robotaxis would best emulate regular taxis with plenty of room, a tall design and sliding doors. Now, Google has asked a California federal judge to pause his sweeping court order requiring it to open up its App Store Play to greater competition. In a court filing, Google said U.S. District Judge injunction order, which goes into effect on November 1st, would harm the company and introduce serious safety, security and privacy risk into the Android ecosystem. The tech giant, a unit of Alphabet, asked the judge to stay the order while it pursues an appeal. The judge issued the injunction on October 7 in a case brought by Fortnite maker Epic Games, which persuaded a federal jury last year that Google was illegally monopolizing how consumers download apps on Android devices and how they pay for in-app transactions. All right, sports updates now. We'll start with cricket. Australia women will take on India women in match 18 of ongoing Women's T20 World Cup 2024 at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium on Sunday. Indian team needs to register not only a win but also has to keep their net run rate in check, as New Zealand is the third team that is searching for a semi-final berth in the tournament. Blockbuster game is on the cards.
India will aim to secure another net run rate boosting win when they face an injury-hit Australia in a must-win Women's T20 World Cup clash on Sunday in Sharjah. Australia, with 6 points from 3 matches and a strong net run rate of plus 2.786, are almost assured of a semi-final spot. Meanwhile, India, New Zealand and Pakistan are battling for the remaining spot. Australia's victory over Pakistan on Friday came with a cost. Skipper Alyssa Healy suffered an acute foot injury, while fast bowler Tyler Vlamnik dislocated her shoulder. Both are likely to miss crucial game on Sunday. India's 82-run win over Sri Lanka, their biggest in tournament's history, not only boosted their net run rate but also lifted them to second place in Group A. India now sit on 4 points behind undefeated Australia. To keep their knockout hopes alive, India must win, as New Zealand, with 1 game in hand, can also reach 6 points. If New Zealand win their remaining games, net run rate will decide the semi-final spots. India currently has a plus 0.567 net run rate, while New Zealand lags behind at minus 0.050. If Pakistan beat New Zealand and India lose to Australia, all 3 teams could end up on 4 points, making net run rate crucial again. Sports Desk, DD India.
All right, let's go across to DD India. Suchitra Bhardwaj, she is joining us live from the newsroom. Suchitra, good morning. And India versus Australia, this matchup has always been a box office in cricket, be it men's cricket or women's cricket, and becomes all the more important for India to stay alive in the current tournament.
Yes, good morning Abhishek. Be it men's cricket, women's cricket, one-day international, T20 international or test cricket, India versus Australia is always a mouth-watering clash, and more so because both the teams, they share a history of records that makes it interesting. If we look at the current Australian women's cricket team, the last time they lost in T20 World Cup was against India. That was the 2020 edition, and India defeated Australia at their home in Sydney. So, everybody's saying that this Australian team is invincible, undefeated, nobody can beat them. But then there is a section of cricket lovers, and they are saying that if any team can defeat Australia, it has to be India. And I definitely belong to that section of cricket lovers. So I think that, when put in a must-win situation, I think Harmanpreet Kaur and company will prove themselves, and it will just help them. Australia is dealing with the injury of their key players, especially Alyssa Healy. If she doesn't play today, Australia will not only miss the services of their captain, also her wicket-keeping abilities, also her batting abilities. So, that will tilt the, tilt it in favor of India. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. We want India to reach the semi-finals, and if India has to reach the semi-finals, they have to win this match. Abhishek.
So Chitra, there are permutations and combinations to qualify for the semis for India. If we consider Australia to be the top team to qualify, it will be one from New Zealand or India. But Australia marred with injuries, like you also said, which can be a plus point for India. Like you said, Alyssa Healy, who could be rested as a precaution.
Yes, she can be rested as a precaution, and yes, India need a big victory, but they can always take inspiration from their own past records. In January this year, India defeated Australia in Mumbai by 9 wickets. That was one of the heaviest loss for Australian cricket team in T20 cricket. So, India just need to repeat that kind of performance, and if not now, then when? Because this is the right time to produce produce that kind of performance. And if we look at India's performance in this particular T20 World Cup, it's going upwards. They started with the loss against New Zealand. That win against Pakistan was not really a convincing one, but then against Sri Lanka they performed really well, and that's why they improved their net run rate, and that sitting at second position in the points table. So let's just hope that they go one notch higher from that match and defeat Australia today by a big margin, particularly 61 runs as they are saying. But even if India win by a bigger margin, or in case they are chasing by 9 wickets or 10 wickets and they score, they chase the score in as less overs as possible, it will be good for them.
Not only a win, India need a big win, and the match will start at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We'll leave it at that. Thank you for your input, Suchitra. An explosive batting display helped India thrash a hapless Bangladesh for a comfortable win in the third and final T20I to clean sweep the series 3-0 on Saturday. Batting first, a minute ride took India to a monstrous 297 for 6. This was the second highest innings total in T20Is, behind Nepal's 314 for 3 against Mongolia last year. Sanju Samson hit his maiden T20I century, scoring 111 runs from 47 balls, while skipper Surya Kumar Yadav scored 75 of 35 balls. A heavily bruised Bangladesh stood no chance in the chase, going down by 133 runs. Earlier, India defeated the visitors 2-0 in the Test Series 2. Alright, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.